What's going on, boys? Beautiful day here in South Florida, and we are talking about this super cool gun right here. This is the Chiappa Rhino 60DS Hunter, and it is Chiappa because it is an Italian word, Italian firearm, and the CH makes a K sound in Italian. And this is the 60DS Hunter, which means that it is a 6-inch barrel denoted by the top rail and the 4 holes in the aluminum frame. And we also have an OD green Cerakote right there. Oh man, it is so cool. With the black cylinder and walnut grips, I love the way this thing looks. These walnut grips are finger grooved, and that is just on this model. Some of their models have like a finger grooved grip, some of them just have a straight square grip. This one is super ergonomic, and the colors in the wood with the dark grains and the light browns, oh, it just looks so cool on this OD green with the black cylinder. Love it, love it, love it. That is the main thing that caught me onto this firearm, is how cool it looks. And I don't think anyone can deny that this thing just looks so cool. And they put it in movies and video games for that reason, and that is one of the things that drew me to it initially. The other really cool thing about this gun is you'll see right there the barrel down the bottom. What this does is it reduces your bore axis from the top of the cylinder down to the bottom, and where your grip is nice and high on this revolver, the bore axis ends up being right at the top of your hand, down this way. Now, basically, if you guys don't really know what bore axis is, it is the height over or under your hand, wherever it may be. Typically in every revolver it's over, but and even semi-autos, it's always over your hand. But in this gun, it actually is just under your hand. And what that does is the force wants to come back, and it's going to go in the path of least resistance, which typically is up here, and that would be up, because the bullet is coming out there. The reverse energy, little law of physics, is going to flip the gun up, or in semi-autos it actually cycles the action and flips the gun up. And on this, it actually comes back straight into your arm, which is very cool. You notice it right away. It's one thing to hear about it in a video and think about how it would work, but it's a totally different experience when you're shooting 700 foot-pounds of full power 357 Magnum self-defense ammunition out of this thing, and it doesn't move at all. It just goes like that. It's unreal what this thing feels like to shoot. And I'm gonna show you guys footage of me shooting this thing. I just got back from the range with it, and it was just so exciting to shoot. Such a powerful caliber, and feel the sensation of no muzzle rise. Because if you guys have ever shot really powerful handguns, you'll know it can be kind of a jarring experience. Not only do you get the really loud blast, the huge muzzle flash, but then your wrist is also doing this constantly, and it can hurt, it can be uncomfortable. With this, it is just a pleasure. I put 100 rounds of full power 357 Magnum through this thing in one range session, and it was just a pleasure to shoot the entire time. So let's talk about what kind of stuff I really enjoy about this particular gun. For starters, it is super light. This is a humongous gun, 6-inch barrel. It is super thick from here to here. You look at this gun on the table or just in my hands right now, and you probably would think that this thing weighs 1,000 pounds. It's got to be like a Desert Eagle weight type gun, like 4 or 5 pounds. Guys, this thing is feather weight. It weighs, I think, 32 or 33 ounces. This giant gun, oh my god, when you pick it up, you're like, holy shit, this thing is so wieldy. It is so small. In your hand, it feels so small, even though it's a giant gun, because it's so light. The reason why it's so light is because this entire thing is aluminum. The only steel parts are right here in the cylinder, and the arm right here, and the barrel. And there's actually, this part right here is a steel insert. You can see there's kind of a line right there. All this black stuff is steel, whereas all the green stuff is aluminum, and it just gives this thing a feeling of mobility and shootability. The other thing I noticed right off the bat is how comfortable this grip is to hold. I love the ergonomics of this grip, and more so, this gun is so natural to aim. Whenever I hold this gun out, I get perfect sight alignment. It's actually kind of amazing. Like, I almost have never clicked with a gun as much as I have with the Chiappa Rhino. Just as far as a natural point of aim, when I hold it in my hand, just throw it out in front of my eyes, and I get 3-dot alignment almost all the time. It's pretty phenomenal. I mean, I'm a semi-auto guy through and through. I have one revolver, and it's just because it's a cool, like, cowboy gun. I think it's super fun, but other than that, I never shoot revolvers. Maybe one cylinder through my friend's 357 Magnum once upon a time. I barely remember it. Other than that, never touch revolvers. This thing just points so naturally. Oh my God, and how ergonomic the grip is. If you're a semi-auto guy, I think that you're gonna get along with the Chiappa Rhino if you try one really, really well. Because like I said, there was zero learning curve with shooting this gun. Just such a natural point of aim. And the finger grooves are soft. There is like no texture at all on this grip. So it is a really good thing that the design of this gun handles the muzzle flip for you, because the grip does not at all. It is super smooth, but oh man, I love the grip angle and how this gun points. This over here is your cylinder release right there, and there is a small detent right there that kind of holds it in place. You push this down, and it takes more than a little tap, but a little more than a little, and you get it to pop right out. It's very smooth. Just throw it right out with one of your fingers. Doesn't take a lot of force, but there is the detent right here to, oh no, it's right there, to hold it in place. The lockup is quite nice. There is a little movement when you are not shooting, but when you do shoot, you'll do that, and now it's super tight. I don't know why revolver guys talk about that, but I've noticed it in a couple reviews, so I figured I'd point it out that this has zero movement at all in this 60DS after you pull the trigger. I don't know why. Like I said, I'm not a revolver guy. I'm not an expert in revolvers at all, but I have noticed that the lockup is fantastically tight. And another feature I will talk about, you'll notice that this little red dingus pops up, and that is most useful when you use the cocking mechanism on the top of the gun. You guys might think that this is a hammer, because that's where hammers normally are on revolvers, but this is actually not a hammer at all. It is simply a cocking lever, and you can pull back. It is quite a hefty pull to pull this back. That is because it is moving arms and stuff inside of this where the hammer is down here. So it's a linkage, and so it is pretty heavy. But you'll notice that once I do pull this back, it is now free to move. It is just a cocking lever, and now that the hammer is cocked, it does nothing. And you'll notice the trigger moved about an inch back and is right at the wall, and you have your little red indicator saying that your hammer is cocked. If you do this while the gun is loaded, you will think, well, shit, there is no possible way to undo what I just did without firing the gun, because you cannot take the cylinder out while the hammer is cocked. I don't know if that is a normal thing on all revolvers, but on this one it is. So a cool trick is that this is a cocking mechanism, but it is directly attached to the hammer. So if you hold this back, pull the trigger, and really carefully, slowly let it forward, you will actually reset the trigger. So that is a cool way to decock the Chiappa Rhino. You don't lose that functionality, even though this isn't the hammer, it is directly connected to it. And that is a very useful trick that I learned, because I did cock this at the range at one point, and I decided I wasn't going to shoot at that second, and I was like, wait, how the hell do I do this? And I was just like, I wonder if this works, and it did. So that is very cool. You guys now have that tip. Let's get to the sights. The sights are actually really good. They're adjustable. They are 3-dot, and they're fiber optic. You can see how bright that lights right up in the Florida clouds. The front is red, the back is green. I really like when there is a difference in color between the front and rear sights. And these sights are fantastic. I can shoot this thing extremely accurately. My goodness. This is an accurate gun. Not only do I just naturally line these sights up, but I can shoot this gun so accurately. Like a 3-shot group at 7 yards, all 3 rounds touching with .357 Magnum. In double action, mind you. It is pretty heavy. I haven't measured it, but I would say at least 10 pounds. The trigger is very smooth while you are doing a nice consistent pull. And when you're trying to shoot this thing kind of quick and you're trying to like train with it and get like some defensive shots and you're like wham, 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 it is very smooth. And even when you go faster like that, then it feels extremely smooth. I'm not used to double action at all, and I have to give it total credit to the ergonomics, the bore axis, and how smooth the trigger is when you're actually intending to pull it quickly. We're gonna get to the features over here. This rail is quite functional. It is good for lights. It works really well. Obviously, if you were to defend yourself with this, you'd just flick it on, leave it on, and then get your normal revolver grip. You cannot actuate it on and off. But I know a lot of guys that I've trained with, instructors, and they preach always on lights. So not everyone preaches the momentary on. If you're defending your house, they're gonna know you're there. It's not like you're a ninja. So always on light, super powerful light, you're gonna blind them, so you're gonna have the upper hand. 1300 lumen light, something like that. Yeah, you're doing pretty well. This top rail, you'll notice I have a lot of marks on the top rail, and you'll see that the Cerakote's been chipped away and stuff, and that's from me endlessly trying to find a friggin' mount that works with this top rail. So you'll notice the bottom rail, and it is like a normal pick rail. There you go. And they're pretty deep cuts. If you look at the top rail, they're not as deep. If you try to put an RMR or some sort of red dot on this top rail, it won't work most of the time. I went through 4 different mounts. The HoloSun 507C, the mount that it comes with, did not work. That's what gave me that chip right there. And it never would seat. It would sit uneven. It did not work at all. The bolt on the bottom is too thick. And I also tried a UTG mount, 2 different UTG mounts. Those both didn't work. There is only one mount out of all of them that I've tried that will work on this gun, and that is this one. If you guys are interested, I contacted Chiappa themselves. I even contacted friggin' Yankee Marshall, who has a super hard on for these guns, and that old fart didn't know either about any mounts that would fit on the top of this. Chiappa themselves were like, I don't know, we never tested that. I don't know what the hell is wrong with Chiappa where they would put a top rail on this thing and never tested it to see if it works with common red dot optic mounting solutions for pistols. Like, then why the hell is this thing here? I even said that to the guy. I was like the sales rep. I'm like, why did you guys put a rail on top of a gun that you never tested and never used? So clearly they thought this was just for looks. But here is your solution. I just showed the actual tag. That is the tag, and it is from Trijicon themselves. It is a super expensive little tiny piece of metal, but this is the only one that will work on this gun. And let me see if I can do this through the camera. It is like a quick detach mount. You like push in on this giant bolt right here, and then you twist it, and it will go on like that. Once I did, this thing was phenomenal. I cannot express enough how much I enjoyed shooting this gun. With how light it is, you can totally carry this gun. I'm not even kidding. And if you get the smaller ones, I don't know if they'll recoil more. Like I said, I only have experience with this one. I thought it was super cool, so I bought it. But if you wanted to carry this thing, get a holster, throw it on the outside the waistband, like open carry, oh man, that would be so much fun. And yeah, you can shoot it super accurately. The other really cool thing about the Rhino, I don't know if this thing is common with revolvers, but it is made to take moon clips. And I did play with these things a little bit here and there, and these moon clips, it comes with 3 of them, and it's kind of hard to do from the camera, but you just throw the moon clip in there, and boom, you get like all the rounds attached. So I know that a lot of Smith & Wessons come with these moon clip cut cylinders, and oh man, it is super convenient to load. And I was playing with these things, and you can actually get pretty fast reloads with the moon clip. You know, you pop the cylinder out, slap that, all the rounds come out, and then you grab another whole stack of rounds and just throw it in there. I will say, I bought some aftermarket moon clips from T&K, and they work way better than, let's see, no, these aren't the T&K ones. These are the ones that come with the Chiappa. The Chiappa comes with 3 of them, along with a removal tool to get these things out. Like I said, no experience, so I was like, how the hell do moon clips? I had to Google it. How the hell do moon clips work? And you get this removal tool. I also bought a loading tool from T&K, and you can just get that on Amazon. You can also get the moon clips from T&K on Amazon. Guys, you need the loading tool. It is so easy to bend these stupid moon clip things without it. Oh my god, totally get the loading tool. It's kind of expensive, it's like 70 bucks, but I broke 2 of these things and I was like, fuck it, need a loading tool. And night and day difference, it's so much quicker. Just like the Maglula is needed for semi-autos, the T&K moon clip loader is totally needed for the Chiappa Rhino clips. And they make it for the Smith & Wessons too, for sure. So if you guys are into moon clips, definitely get a loader and definitely get the extracting tool. The extracting tool that comes with the Chiappa is kind of short, and it makes it very difficult to get enough leverage to pop out fired rounds from the moon clip. I've noticed that. So get the one that looks like a screwdriver. It has a nice handle on the bottom, and then you'll have no problem getting leverage to pop rounds out. But yeah, these things are super fast. I mean, it's definitely not semi-auto fast. You have 6 rounds, but that's 6 rounds of some serious fucking power. There is no comparison between this and like 9mm. I mean, this stuff is shooting hotter than even 10mm and 45 Super. So it's cruising along. I mean, if you're gonna like argue power factor, I'd say 10mm and 45 Super are both gonna do more, and they'll be a little more effective just because the bullets are much bigger. But as far as power factor goes, this thing is rocking, and the fireball you get from those things, woo, that's so much fun. I cannot recommend it enough, even for full semi-auto guys like myself. This thing is just so much fun to shoot. Even if you never carry it, just buy one. I got this thing for 900 bucks. 900 bucks for this super cool toy, shooting .357 Magnum? Come on, that is a no-brainer. You will have so much fun at the range. Give it to your friends. You feel no muzzle flip. You'll just be so excited to shoot it, so excited to look at it and play with it. And now you know if you want a red dot, you need to buy this particular mount right there. Quick release, low weaver mount from Trijicon. Unfortunately, that thing's like 130 bucks for this little stupid piece of metal, but if you want a red dot on this thing, woo, if you want to go hunting, oh man, this little package for hunting, throw this red dot on there like that. Oh wow, you could put this in a holster, just make a big cutout for this so the holster has a nice channel right here. Oh man, this would be super cool hunting gun. And it is the 60DS Hunter. So yeah guys, I just love this thing. I had so much fun with it at the range. Had to share it with you guys. The hype is not just smoke and mirrors. This thing is absolutely revolutionary as far as controlling recoil, especially of a heavy hitting round. Guys, that is my review of the Chiappa Rhino. I think it's amazing. I think it's fun. And if you guys are into how it looks, absolutely pick one of these things up. Super, super fun.